Okay, 2014 Dart GT. You see me do the brake video on this. Back then it did have 40,000 on. We are now to 76. It's common that these do have clutch issues. They say 40, 60,000. They go out. Now this thing felt weird from day one when I actually got this thing. Right now I'm to the point where I'm deduced this scenario to be the flywheel. So I'm going to see if it picks it up in here. I'm also going to get a camera shot underneath the car. And I've already been working quite a bit today, so lovely and dirty. So let's see here. What kind of sounds do we get in here? I'll try to put it down here. See if we can pick it up. Ooh. Ready? Yeah. I don't know if it picked that up. Nice little initial rattle off of startup. So we are putting a clutch in this thing. I got all the cool parts. I got the cool flywheel, the cool clutch, brand new slave cylinder. What else? We got some other stuff. Oh yeah, we got a shifter to put in this thing, MPX short trail, and new brakes and some new tires. We are just fixing everything that's wrong with this. We got fresh fluid to put in the transmission. I'm going to pull the parts out. I'll show you what some of that stuff looks like here quick before we get the job started, so you can see what they are and what I went with. New rubber. In here is the shifter. So the shifter comes with the knob kit, the arm, and the shifter base bushings. I just installed one of those in a 2016. I ordered new Mopar flywheel bolts, whether it was needed or not. We got them. Brake pads, new clutch slave cylinder throwout bearing. Here is the fancy dancy Clutchmaster's flywheel right here. So this is the single mass. They give you the bolts to connect the clutch to it. We have brand new rotors, brand new brake pads. Up here's a clutch. Ow! Bang your head. So here's the Clutchmaster's clutch. This is the basic one. I think it's the FDX 100 or something like that. So we have that. I have the brand new Mopar fluid to put in the transmission also. So I've already got the lower cover off. I've removed the other lower cover so we can actually get this thing on. So this is going to be my first clutch job in one of these. I've heard they're not fun. I mean, the transmission actually looks smaller than an SRT4, but yeah. We're going to get this thing accomplished, taken care of, knocked out of the park. This thing, let me see, the best way I can say this is the flywheel. One day this thing came home, she was driving it, it had a bad vibration. The flywheel actually got locked in one direction. I did a downshift and kind of unlocked it, and it actually stopped having the vibration. So right now it has a bad vibration. You can hear that noise is actually the flywheel going click, click, clink, clink, I think on initial startup. So I'm hoping, I assume from my research that that is our issue. I'm really curious to see what this flywheel looks like when we get it out. But if we need other parts, we'll just get them. It is what it is. Gotta fix it. So, okay. So, Dodge Dart. Not fun. Maybe it's just because it's something new. Didn't get to work on one yet. So basically I kind of went over some stuff. That was yesterday evening. I've been picking at this thing somewhat today. So this is kind of where I'm at. There's different colored bolt or different size bolts for different parts of the starter. or the transmission. So we got the starter, yeah, starter. These two will not come out without removing the exhaust. These are the two that are left in the top. This one back here on the cable was pretty tough to get out. I just kind of like did it like this. So once it's out, I can see if I can get this cable popped out without damaging that clip. Kind of trying to work around some stuff. It is a little bit of a learning curve for me because this is all new. You can see we have a bolt here we took out. Now, you have your axles, okay? They have their nuts that are on there. I kind of just took a punch and knocked them up because they're knocked down. Now, we tried to remove these ball joints right here. I tried to tap this down out. Well, no movement there. So we just undid the control arm. As you can see, where this is off on this side, we have that off on that side also. There is a gap here starting between the transmission and the engine. I don't want to disturb these bolts here because I don't know if they'll come off. So we're trying to avoid that, which I believe that will be able to be accomplished. I took off the mount here, which is here. I pulled this out of the way. So that is out of our way. So that's one less thing. Don't get me wrong. It was an extra bolt. I did probably a couple extra things. You know, like I said, removing that. We got this axle out. Like I said, I had to do that. I just have it laying in here. It's out of the way. Whew. These I just have sitting here. I'm hoping that this doesn't cause a problem. I'm thinking I might just take a zip tie and pull these back like this and run a zip tie around here to hold them out of the way so that I don't end up with them sticking out when I don't want them to, because I do have two of those. The starter is unbolted. That was 2 bolts for that. What else? There was a little wire that come down here. We undid that. Yeah, we got our battery tray out of the way, so I'll point that out to you also. For this, I was able to use a T60 Torx because I don't have a large enough Allen head for that. I mean, I do have some E-Torx, which I used also. Let me see, anything else? Control arm bolts. Bolt comes up through with a nut. When you lean these down, if you pop this out and you get it down low enough, this here actually is ground out to clear this. So you kind of have to come down and tilt it out. They're probably going to be a little bit of a challenge to get reinstalled, but I've done that already on these, so that's not so bad. Your battery box has a bolt on this side. There was a 10mm bolt that went through here. A bunch of little wires that were where are we at here? A bunch of wires like pushed in to the box in a couple locations, like here and here. I just unplugged the computer and brought it all out like this, and you can see where it hugs over the frame rail. So there's a bolt here and one on each side. I did try to search some stuff on internet in regards to like this type of an installation. Like I said, this is my first one of these. I did want to capture it on video, so there is some kind of a reference to this. Like I said, there's no real in-depth one. I'm sure, like if I get this chance to do this again, it'll be my second one, so I'll actually know more of what I'm doing. I can kind of explain it in a way that someone who's actually working on this in their home garage can kind of take care of this, like I do some of my other videos. So, like I said, we're down to that. I'm getting the jack set up. I'm going to get a block of wood underneath my oil pan. Typically, I use an engine hoist to drop these down. I don't know if that's going to work. So, I do have... That's something I could try. I have one of those fancy tools up here where I can run across my shock towers and actually support the engine. I could probably run something down here off of maybe this bolt here and support it, because it'll run across the shock towers and then comes out to your core. See if there's something good enough there. Maybe I can get that set up. I mean, like I said, I pulled this apart, tucked it up out of the way to actually, because it comes out pretty far, it covers your mount here. You don't really have much clearance. Whew. So yeah, it's just been a learning experience. When I figure out how to get this out, I'll try to explain that also on video so you can see that. I'm down to, there's actually one back there, I think. One more bolt here on the top that's actually holding this thing together along with the mount. So I might put the cross brace and do that route. I tried to put everything together. What's this? I'm going to show you this one. This little bracket here was down here. Where's that? I put the bolt back in here. It should be. There's a little 10 mil bolt on here. Right there. Okay, it's right here. I pulled this out. That holds that like that. Just, I guess, to hold the wire. So I just moved that out of the way. There was a ground wire that went here, which I believe is maybe this. I think. So I do have another one of these to look at. I have a black 2016. So if I need any kind of a reference point of where stuff goes, I can kind of funnel back to that or pictures that I had taken. So right now I'm at the point of getting everything set up to actually separate the transmission, support the engine, pull the transmission, drop it down out. I'm really curious to see what this flywheel looks like with the clicking. You know, the fluid didn't look too bad. I drained it out. I'm not sure what this fluid looks like. Right here, that's what it looks like when it comes out. I have the brand new Mopar fluid to put in here, C-Series manual and dry clutch transmission fluid. So I'm not sure what this looks like. It looks like it's kind of brown in here. So it doesn't really smell like transmission fluid, like a transmission fluid or even like a gear lube. So it's something new. Haven't touched one of these yet. So I have it supported. Everything seems to be working out pretty good. Up top, I also have a jack stand here underneath it also, just for secondary measures. The transmission right now. Yeah, see, I started to separate this and I was getting these rubber chunks falling out of this thing. So there was definitely an issue with the clutch. 100%. I wanted to get this in here so we could see what this looks like. So yeah, wow. What a bad design. Maybe there's rubber in there that helps absorb the shock. I'm not sure. Like I said, I never have one apart. So basically this is where I'm at. I'm going to get two hands on this thing and try to get it out without dropping the trans and without, you know, catching anything to drop it and damaging anything. So we are really close. What a bad flywheel looks like. Look at this mess. I've never seen nothing like this. What in the world is going on here? Yep. That was making some noise too. So that's definitely needing replaced. I mean, wow. That's some pretty scary stuff. Ooh. Tiny trans though. So we got to get this cleaned out. Slides around really nice, you can see. Wow, what's this up here? Look. Oh, look. There's part of a spring right there. All right, let's get this jack out of the way. I just got stuff all over my hands. I don't want to grab the camera. Okay, here we go. I mean, the clutch, like I said, was working the way it should. Yeah, look at that. That's what that is. That flywheel done came apart really bad. Let me see here. Let you can move it back and forth. I can tell you, like, this thing had like one serious, oh, look at that. One serious vibration after another with this thing. So, let's, I'm gonna wipe my hands off and then I'll set the camera up and we'll pop this. We'll get the clutch off the flywheel and see what it looks like inside there. Check the disc and stuff like that. Alright, sorry for the low look here, but let's get this thing off here. All right, so wow, the clutch actually looks good. The disc and the pressure plate, perfectly fine, perfectly usable. Flywheel on the other hand, yeah, that thing's screwed. So I tried beating and beating and beating on this with a hammer, so my arm's actually kind of worn out. We did not get it to spin, so our next option is to cut it out. So it's kind of where we're at. Looks like this thing here will kind of spin, so if I need a little bit of room, because I have a little bit extra right on that piece. So let's see what happens here. Last one. Woo-wee! It's off. Well, got a little bit of goo to clean up in there. A little bit of goo around the starter. Not too bad. Oh my. Well, the flywheel's finally off. Man, my arm's tired. Oh, goodness. Wow. What a mess. I mean, I've seen some, I looked some stuff up, and some cars they'll actually come apart and they'll wear through your bell housing. I mean, I guess it's good that it didn't. I did order new bolts, so I wasn't worried about those too much, which is probably a good idea. You know, I think I did, you know, nick that head, cut into this one here a little bit. I mean, you know, some of the chunks, you know, we probably have a wheel or two of stuff here on the floor. I did want to stress that when you're doing this, safety glasses, okay? You should wear a mask. You definitely do not want to breathe any of this dust if you're using a grinder. It's bad for you, really bad. So that's actually the one excuse that you really need to wear a mask. So right now I'm at the point of cleaning up. I got to clean up the engine here. I'm gonna get all that stuff out of there, get that looking pretty. I got the transmission. You can see we got stuff over there. We got to get that all scraped out. I'm gonna clean up this floor, organize some tools out of the way, and it wasn't that pretty. All right, so this looks like it kind of snaps in there after you take off the two bolts. So I just gave that a little pull. It looks like it kind of snaps into this thing here. So I'm not quite sure what to do to get this out. So I have to figure this one out. maybe this pops that way and then it pops this way. Because your new one looks like this. Right here. Brand new. Okay, well, I tried lifting this up. And then I just gave this a tap, which probably wasn't the best thing for this plastic clip over here. So, it's actually, it's off. The plastic clip I could still get away with using. So, we're just going to slide this thing in here. Try to get this thing in here. Alright. A little bit of a learning curve. Whew. All right, slave cylinders in. Time for a flywheel. All right, so I have brand new Mopar bolts. I'm gonna guess that these are the ones that actually hold the clutch on. Yeah, let's get this thing out of here. Wow, that's pretty. Very nice. Looks like the ring gear is replaceable, and the clutch surface is replaceable. Our little information up there. I'm not sure if this only fits on one way. So, like I said, this is totally something new for me. So let's get this thing on here. Let's get this thing upgraded. I'm going to grab a couple of these new bolts out here. I'm going to take this off the gun. That way I can use it to spin the bolts. So let's see what happens here. I kind of wanted to do a side by side, so hopefully this is good enough. You can see them side by side. The ring gear is just a little bit different, so well, that's weird. It doesn't want to fit onto there. So it will only line up with these holes one way. All right. Now, fresh out of the pack, it would not seat down past the center ring here. So I had to grind a little bit out of here very easily. I did this nice and slow with, sorry about this, a drill, little grinding wheel. You can see there's some aluminum in there. I did take my time. I cleaned it out once or twice. Very gently just worked at it. All right, I'm sorry for such the up-looking view here. All right, so I got this so that it'll actually seat back tight against my light. All right, so that's seating back tight against there. All right, and that's what you need it to do. Perfectly fine. All right, I'm gonna grab a hand ratchet. Flywheel's on, bolts are torqued. Here is our clutch alignment tool. Goes in, catches in the middle, doesn't move around, but you have this walk. So this is going to be a fun setup. All right, now we took, here is the OEM one, labeled gearbox side. Okay, we can stick this into here, and you know, there's very little, like you can get it to center and it stays where it needs to be. I'm trying to move it. Good, nice fit. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Really nice fit, good and tight. Okay, clutch masters, flywheel side, put the tool in, hold the tool, it's starting to actually want to grab. So I don't like it needs to just have a couple more splines here. So I'm thinking I'm going to modify this tool here just a little bit so that this slides in just a little bit farther and seats down here into the center of the crank. Familiar, but we got it centered out. Clutch is all tightened down. We're actually prepping the transmission and getting it ready to go up in now. Different day, different jokes. Okay, so hopefully I got some of the footage of the clutch being on the engine. If not, I think I have a picture I can throw in too. Basically, I had a friend come over. They helped to get the trans up in. It was kind of a little bit of strange. I don't know if you remember, I had, where did I put it? I had a box. I had a box, yes. I had a box rode up, so I knew where the locations of the trans bolts were because they were a little different. So, to get the trans in, we kind of just jacked it up, and then, how can I say it? My hand is here, so it was like this. It kind of had to come up on an angle and in like that. And it actually went in pretty good. The rest of these, they all went in pretty easy. Since I had to take my control arms out, I undid my end links, okay, up here on both sides, so I can move that up to make it easier to get this in. Then these control arms right here, if you have this out and you look inside here, there's actually a little bit of a spacer down, okay? It had a straight edge, so I took a grinder and I ground that a little bit. And then the inside of this bushing, I just kind of ground that edge and tapered it just a little. And the same with the front here to help get these to go in a little easier because they pried out. They fit really tight. So I just I took a little bit off of each end of this sleeve here on both sides and actually made it so that the arm just kind of slid in. I had to give it a little bit of taps. I mean, you can't see nothing too bad. So, I mean, that stuff is all back in. We got a couple things we got to do out here. The clutch needs bled. The cable bracket needs installed for the cables, and then, you know, you can see I got to get the, you know, that's got to go back in, and then I got to get the battery tray back in. You know, over here, like I said, it was kind of the same deal. Kind of just, you know, slid that stuff up in. Like I said, everything seemed to go in pretty decent. The fluid that I took out, I think you've seen some of that right here. I would say it was actually kind of dark. I mean, I don't know how this stuff looks when it's worn or how the newer stuff was compared to the stuff that I got. But the newer stuff was more of like a clearer oil color to go in. I mean, the worst part of the job was cutting the clutch off and having to modify the flywheel a little bit so that it would fit, and then having to modify the alignment tool a little bit so that it would slide in a little bit farther and work properly. But yeah, I'm just, with as bad and much a mess was in here, I'm really curious how this thing's going to be, because it had a vibration. You heard the clicking noise when you first started it, so you could tell the flywheel was out. It's probably going to be like a whole new car. Starts on the ground. Basically, I got everything's reassembled. Everything. Kind of went over everything like I was saying. Started up. You know, the vibration that was there is gone. Now I don't drive this. I didn't daily drive this car, so it's kind of hard for me to make a actual comparison. What can I say? Basically, just went for a quick test drive. The clutch grabs more off the floor, which I like. It's closer to the floor, but everything went together. Everything, no matter all the problems that I had, everything's together. I ended up when I was trying to put the shifter bracket in, I lost a little spacer. I didn't realize I dropped it on the floor. And an extra bolt for the battery tray, and I'm not quite sure where these go, so hopefully they're nothing important. But yeah, most of the time when I put SRT4s together, the extra bolts that I have were the wrong bolts that were in the car, and I replaced them with the correct ones. But with the little knowledge that I have on these right now, being that this was the first clutch install, first trans out in one of these, not too bad, not too bad. So don't feel bad. If you have any questions, comment, ask. I'll do the best that I can to answer them. When it comes to this platform, it's really something that's different. They're not a bad car. They talk them down, but not a bad car is what they are. All right, I'll add a little bit to this tomorrow if I get time. But other than that, hopefully we got this thing straightened out.